Well, you're welcome to this morning's edition of AM120. I hope you had.
We'll start with some of the stories that made the headline, and then we'll take you through the weather reports, quotes for the day, the interview segment, and we'll wrap it up with sport update. Of course, I'll start from here this morning. We'll take stories from the Vanguard newspapers. And the major story there says the pressure mount. FG borrows 8.1 trillion naira in 2026. The story is on page 11. Represents 7.4% year-on-year increase from Q1 2025. Analysts cite revenue gaps, fiscal indiscipline, urge federal government to cut waste, boost revenue, rising debts, crippling ability to fund infrastructure. That's according to the World Bank. Other stories there on page 38, 1,100 abducted in northern Nigeria within 3 months. That's from Amnesty International. All right, on page 6, dozen fell dead as Nigerian Air Force probes Borno Yobe airstrikes. All right, Two-Face Laolu Benjo, others set to electrify. Vanguard Personality Year Award. Livestock Development Minister leads discussion panel at Vanguard Economic Discourse. All right, conviction of terrorists will give hope to victims. That's according to USCSO's lawyer. You also have mixed reaction as FG cuts import duties on pharmaceutical products, rice, cars, others. That story is on page 5. Let's go to some inside stories this morning, and then we come to of course, page 6, police confirm mother of 6-year-old recovery of severed head in Ibadan. That's on page 6. All right, Crisis Rock Church has used tear gas pastor wife. You also have other stories there. Suspected governor's convoy kill an SCDC officer in Calabar. NDLE arrests 93-year-old grandpa, medical doctor in nationwide cocaine school, loud crackdown. All right, on page 7, you have poverty. Nigeria go for broken rice as staple food price increase. We come to page 8. You have Middle East crisis. Trump vows to block Strait of Hormuz after failed peace talk. Sultan of Sokoto debunks AI image on Benue crisis. You go to page 9, conviction of terrorists. I'll give hope to victims. That's according to USCSOs and lawyers. All right, ADC fixes May 12 inauguration as Mark Camps Trenton's grip on state ESCOs. On page 10, manufacturing tax contribution maintain upward trend in 2025. You also have World Bank bets on industry to shield Africa from shock. On the Financial Vanguard page, on page 12, you also have other stories there. Electricity, FG set up committee to tackle gas to power challenge. Cardoso living up to his promise 1. All right, News Central shines as the second Nigeria Broadcasting Award. And of course, sugar production, FG tax Dangote Group on 600 metric tons target by 2030. On page 14, as on political page, single-term rational presidency will solve Nigeria's challenge. That's coming from Festus Kiyamo. Right, we'll go to the viewpoint page, the ABC, ADC, and APC of Nigeria politics. Why civilization reproduce war despite knowledge, and knowledge on the nation on the stage. Why Nigeria's security architecture is failing. Right on page 19, public health, prioritize financing of primary health care, PHCAI tasks on Wolu CDS. All right, we'll go to some stories. We'll go to page 2930 on the news page. Tunji siblings bid father, Pa Olugodi, farewell in grand style. That's there on the protesters to Aida Tiwa, and killings, kidnapping. All right, Makinde Lajoja to Fayoshe. Makinde Lajoja to Fayoshe. No plot to dethrone Olubadan. All right, Igbo elders back Ohaneze on regulation of Eze Indigbo title. 2027, no vacancy in Enugu government house. That story is also there on page 29. All right, former Vice President Shimbajo appointed senior advisor for Africa. Wow, that's a nice one. Tinubu renew Bugaje as appointment, appointment as NBTE boss. All right, let's go to, still on the news page, APC female aspirant joins Oredo East Assembly race. Nigeria lack of earthquake preparedness worrisome. That's according to structural engineers. And you also have 2027 Olori Omiyibo rally Isoko support for Tinubu. You have 2027 Oboware performance leaves room for opposition. Ukumaha, all student call for justice for detained leader. And we'll come to some sports stories this morning. Nigeria clinches double title at Africa Championship. Yamal wants Oseme at Barcelona. Sunderland edge Spur as the Devils' reign starts with defeat. Sina beats Alcazar to return to world top sport. And of course, Man City trashed Chelsea to turn up. Hit on Arsenal. Chelsea 0, Man City 3. Those are the stories, of course, from the Vanguard newspaper of this morning.
I have the Nigerian Tribune here, and on the front page, we have Borno-Yobe border airstrike. Why we struck, and that's coming from the military. The writer says, to investigate reports of civilian casualties. Zulum backs military, says the market closed 5 years ago. Sislak TI condemns strikes, call for immediate probe, and that story is on page 2. ADC crisis. Supreme Court hears David Mark's appeal tomorrow. Party insists on holding convention tomorrow. Updates committee list, and that's on page 22 and on page 23. And on page 2, Olubadon, Makinde CCII, fault Fayose on alleged dethronement plot. Fear of wider Middle East war rises as U.S. threatens blockade of Strait of Hormuz. That story is on page 7. Olawepo Ashim decries global silence on endless killings in Nigeria. Experts express concern as housing crisis deepens. That story is on page 5. And lastly, on the front page of the Nigerian Tribune, as we have a story on page 7, a health report says sleeping with pillows may help lower high internal eye pressure. And that's all on the front page of the Nigerian Tribune. And let's take some inside stories. On page 2, we have Borno-Yobe border airstrike, why we struck, coming from the military. NAF to probe report of civilian casualties. Zulum warns residents against aiding Boko Haram insurgents. Gili markets, a notorious terrorist hub. Military action inevitable, and that's coming from Buratai. Sislak and Transparency International condemn strikes, call for immediate probe. All stories are on page 2. Moving on to business and economy, on page 5, experts express concern as housing crisis deepens. Nigerians told to take advantage of investment in business opportunities. Lagos youth gathering to signal shift in emerging consumer economy. Global shocks. Nigeria rejects World Bank's advocacy for increased fuel imports. And that's coming from CPPE. Federal government tasks Dangote Group on 600,000 megaton sugar production target by 2030. 15 female truck drivers in Ashaka graduate from Lafarge's Women and Wheels program. Federal government denies claims that finance minister admitted errors in new tax laws. All stories on page 6. Sleeping without pillows may help lower high internal eye pressure. I serve Africa as a mission. That's coming from Additional. Dedicates lifetime award to Nigeria. Advocates shift from aid to structured investment. And that's all we have on page 6. Moving on to the back page where we have some sports stories. Man City thrashed Chelsea 3-0 at Stamford Bridge. Van Dijk backs Liverpool fans, ticket protest. I will give up my phone if I play at World Cup, Richarlison. Shooting Stars held by Kwara United in Ibadan. And here we have NFF must start 2030 World Cup preparations now. And lastly, tiredness, not an excuse for Arsenal. And that's coming from Ateta. And that's all we have on the newspaper review this morning. We'll be right back. Stay with us as we go take the weather reports. Please stay with us.
Super Malt Multivitamin Active Teens. Super Malt Multivitamin Active Teens. Shine on.
When malaria knocks you down, you can be sure parasites are having a party in your system.
Welcome to our new kingdom, guys!
Comel, an effective weapon against malaria. Attacking the parasite army directly to give you express relief and get you back on your feet effectively. Comel on. Malaria gone.
All right, welcome back. It's still AM120 on the Broadcasting Corporation of Oyo State. Of course, we're now in our interview segment, and this morning we'll be looking at what we call Bruno terror attack, killing of Army General and 17 others. To do justice to this conversation this morning, we have a journalist par excellence, a political analyst, and of course, online publisher. We have Comrade Rotimi Agboluwaje, who is also the secretary of the Correspondent Chapel in Oyo State. You're welcome this morning.
Thank you very much. Good morning. I hope those that call it are not too many.
Well, the choice is yours too. That's why it's good to spread your tentacles.
Good morning. Well done. Good morning, Auntie.
You're
good
welcome.
morning to the viewers at home.
All right, of course, let's look at the conversation. Brigadier General Oseni Omo Brahima, our second top official to be killed in the last 5 months as violent surges across Nigeria. 4 sources, including the military, confirm the overnight attack on the base of Ben Sheikh, about 75 kilometers from Borno State capital, Maiduguri. One intelligence source put the death toll at 18, while other sources gave 30, among others. Unidentified jihadists overran the base and torched a vehicle in Ben Sheikh, the source told journalists. President Bola Tinubu had paid tribute to the dead soldiers in a statement that named Brahima. Tinubu praised the courage and heroism of the soldiers who fought violently to repel the terrorists and ensure the Boko Haram could not overrun the community the soldiers protect. Let's look at this among many others, even the one recently that happened, leaving, of course, there have been issues. Oh, it was terrorist that was being attacked in that market where a claim 200 people were killed. Some reports said, look, we have about 60 people killed. Some reports said civilians were the ones that were killed in an airstrike mistakenly, set out by the Nigerian Air Force. Now, what's your take about all of the security situation? It seems like we're not getting it right, and some school of thought believe that we're doing well.
We are not doing well. That's just the bottom line. We are not doing well. So why did I say we are not doing well? It's because of what happened some days ago, April the 9th. What happened then was very unfortunate. That is that. On the one report that we got yesterday night, that in a market, that no fewer than 200 people were killed, while some official reports said 60 people died. And the conflicting report we are getting are that the market was abandoned, that the market, nobody used the market, nobody used the market.
Government had closed the
market.
market
Government said they closed
5
the market
years ago.
5 years ago, that's what the government claimed. Why some people are saying that people still go to that market. Some are even saying that that market has become a hub for terrorists, for insurgents. I think what is more important here is we need to investigate whether that market is actually, whether the state government has actually closed their market. Sometimes it's not everything that you say by the government official we need to go by, because we got some stories that are not valid, that are not accurate. For instance, Amnesty International has spoken. Let them go there and do an independent investigation to know whether that market was closed 5 years ago. If the market was not closed 5 years ago officially, then it means it was a mistake that that military official stuck on that market, and the air strike kill people there. I think that would be very unfortunate if civilians are killed. Ordinarily, we are supposed to be protecting civilians.
It seems like you're calling that a manslaughter. But on the other hand, have you also thought that if this terrorist, that market was their hub, and they were daily killing people, including the recent 17 soldiers and the general, I mean, what stopped government from taking that step? Because we're the one complaining. The government was not doing anything.
Why we are doing whatever we are doing, that's why I said the first step we need to take is to ensure that the market was closed. If the market had been closed 5 years ago, then whatever Army did there, they are right. If anybody is staying there, despite the fact that the market has been closed, that means you are a terrorist. As simple as that. If the market has been closed, I support what they did. But if the market has not been closed, and the people are still using that market, I think it's very unfortunate. 200 people were killed. It's very unfortunate because we are supposed to protect civilians, but unfortunately, those we are supposed to be protecting.
Acclaim 200.
Acclaim. Well, by virtue of our job, it's not some reports. You may not report some things, and anywhere they are reporting like 100 people died in a situation like that, you should know that it should be more than that. Then, if official report is saying 60 people, obviously it will be more than that. It will be more than that because government will try to what? They try to beat the number down so that will not cause some panic in the country. Then, to me, I think I will go by what I've read unofficially that says that no fewer than 200 people died. But if the people that died are insurgents, are terrorists, so be it. They need to be killed more. More need to be killed. No, more need to be killed. Why did I say so? The incident that happened in April the 9th is very unfortunate. It was very unfortunate in the sense that they kill a brigadier general. If a brigadier general is killed, that means a leader has been killed. A leader of brigades has been killed. That will dampen the morale of those who are working. It's just like you are following a leader, and the leader was gone down. Everybody is gone. Everybody is gone. And if the insurgents could kill the leader, who else? Who remain? All the military, everybody will run for their safety. Then if they are killing a brigadier general, and the military went anywhere to kill anybody that has suspected to be terrorist, so be it. Anybody, even if you're a civilian, you are staying in that market, that means you are supporting terrorists, or you are a sympathizer of terrorists, then the person should be killed. As simple as that. But I said that being issue that there's a need for a probe to ascertain whether that market was closed a few years back. We need to ascertain that one. After that, then we move ahead, we know where to go.
I mean, talking of ascertaining whether the market was closed or not, we have instances where Borno has been under siege for a long time. And where we have a market closed for over 5 years, or where we have a community that has been almost sacked, everyone has been sacked and sent away from the community. And we have very few markets here and there where people have to go to buy things. And we've also heard reports, first-hand reports that these terrorists live among the people. Now, when you say you close a market of a community under siege, how do you want the people to survive? That's my question. That's the first question. Where would they have gone to, trade their goods?
To buy things.
Yes.
Yeah, if a community is under siege, first to start with is a failure of government. Every territory of this country belongs to the government. That's why it is called a sovereign state. That is a failure of government. That is in theory. But in practice, we've seen there was a time a governor came out that some local governments were under control, or they were under the control of terrorists. Now, if a local government is under the control, or a community is under the control of terrorists, I think the government ought to have taken some steps by ensuring that those who are staying there leave.
Evacuated.
They are evacuated. They are ensured they leave that place. Then anybody that refuses to leave, that means you are a sympathizer. Then the government want to strike them. All of them should be stuck together. All of them should be stuck together. But what I observed from the past is there is in some community, you can only differentiate between terrorists and the community member. In fact, in some community, they have sympathy. The community member are sympathetic to the cause of terrorists. I think there was a time I appeared on this program. I gave an example. I went to a community where I observed that the people were doing smuggling. They were smuggling rice. Then I observed that everybody in that community were sympathetic.
No, that's a business they would do.
Yeah, but it's illegal business. Even including children. They even call me. I went there to go and do a report. But when I saw them, I slightly took the picture. Before I knew it, other people have heard about that somebody has entered the community. Everybody, they have to delete the item from my phone. It means in this country, it got to a level that if people are doing certain things in the community, if government does not take a step on time to nip in the bud, everybody in that community will see reason why that thing should continue, and they will be very sympathetic to them. Then that may be the same thing that's happening in some northern community, that people there are sympathetic to their cause. Although some people are sympathetic because they know if you report them, you are dead. Yes, they know if you report them, they are dead. But that still boils down to the failure of government.
Let's go back to Borno terror attack, killing of the Army General and 17 soldiers. You would agree with me that this, the military base was attacked and a vehicle ran in there. And I began to ask myself, does it mean there is no longer intelligence? Does it mean that before you get to a military base, what we know is that there are barricades. In fact, when I was driving along Lagos-Ibadan Expressway recently, just some few days ago, you could see a particular location along the road where you have the military stand by there, and then they are also seen on top of a, a house, a small
Watchtower.
security.
They call it watchtower.
This one was not even a watchtower now. Okay. It was just constructed, and you found the military guy there with his gun, ready. Now, there must have been an intelligence for them to be stationed in that place. You'd also agree with me that for them to be there, there's a military base, maybe a minor or a post where they are there to monitor the security around the place. And so that military officer must have seen from a distance, even if there is no intelligence, that there's an oncoming vehicle. There must have been checkpoints before you get to that location. Does it mean that those are the checkpoints were killed before they got to that location? And whoever that was on the tower now, if it was actually the base, the watchtower, could not also see until they ram into them and began to kill. The army that I know, maybe by movies that I watch, also tells me that their guns are always readily available close to them. So I don't know how 17 soldiers were killed if there is no internal saboteur.
Well, ordinarily, that's the picture you just painted. That's how it's supposed to be. But mind you, many things happened that made that operation successful as it was, because to the terrorists, it was a successful operation for them. You could recall there was the General Musa Uba. He was also a brigadier. He was killed. Up to now, they have not seen his body. No, terrorism is on propaganda. When a leader of a platoon or of a battalion is killed, and up to now, the body of that man is still with the terrorist, it means terrorists are winning. Now, when they are winning, that one embodying them, that they could also do some things. What happened in April the 9th? The number of terrorists outnumbered the number of people in that military installment formations. There were too many. And they attacked from various sides, not just one side. A kind of simultaneous attack. And when the terrorists outnumbered the military officer and the army, the vehicle that the Brigadier General Husseini Ibrahim was supposed to use, I got a report that the vehicle was not well maintained. They call it mine ambush machine. That brigadier is supposed to be inside that will protect him. Somebody said the vehicle was not well maintained. Somebody said the first attack of the terrorist was that machine.
Because that's the machine that
will protect him.
Yes.
That will use to move up and down.
Yes.
That can use to even command his official to come and do certain things. Somebody said that machine, a report said that machine was not working, as it was not well maintained. Another report said that the first target of the terrorists was that machine. That machine was first of all burnt. When they attacked the machine, then when the protection of the leaders of the military formation has been attacked, no place to move, and it was easily killed. That was the report. But the bottom line is this: whether the machine was not well maintained or the machine was first attacked, the bottom line is the machine was demobilized first. And when the machine was demobilized, the man inside was taken and was killed. Then what we are saying is that I think we need to invest more in this military. Yes, more money needed.
So are you saying with the budgets, with money spent yearly, we are still not?
Yes, the budget, the money may look humongous. Although there are some reports of corruption in the security spending, but that won't cause for accountability. Government need to monitor effectively. But aside that, if the machine is not well maintained, there is the general report to certain authority is supposed to be what Chief of Army Staff. I think the reporters will have got to him that the machine this man is used that will protect him in case of any eventuality. The machine was not well maintained. That report ought to have gone to the Chief of Army Staff, and the machine ought to have been changed. And what do we use to change the machine? They need money. We need more investments in that.
I'm scared with...
Because the target of terrorists, whether terrorists, kidnapper, insurgents, or whatever, all of them, they are now, there is a block between to demarcate them now. Their target is this. Yeah. You know, somebody said that why is Nigeria the country they are targeting the most? Why? Is it because the country is rich? The country has a lot of resources, and their target is the Atlantic Ocean. They are targeting the south, even along the border, our border between Benin Republic and Nigeria, our border between in the east-western coast. They are coming down. They want to take over the country. That's their target. These insurgents, they are not restricted to Nigeria. They are coming from all over Africa. Some reports said that these people were people that were the foot soldiers, the former leader of Libya, Muammar Gaddafi. So when their leader was killed, then after they have killed them, all of them have access to guns, and they are using the guns to come to attack Nigeria. Because they observe that Nigeria is the richest in the West African country.
When we have terrorists overpowering our military, we have terrorists coming the forefront, showcasing themselves. They even put on the uniforms. They use trucks. What are we going to say about the state of security in Nigeria? And that's not the north alone. Now let's look at Nigeria generally. We've heard cases of kidnapping, of this terrorist attack already happening in the southwest.
It's not today. Even in Akure, there is a local area, they call it Akure North. Akure North is not safe.
Akure North, we are talking about the weekend in those states. The protests.
Before that protest, a man was killed, a lot of people were killed. As I speak today, Akure North local government is not safe. People are relocating from Akure North to Akure South, which is the Akure metropolis. The state, that local government alone, there's a place, they have not gone there, but I read a report that said that that Akure North share a border with Edo State. Say that axis is unsafe. People are relocating from Akure villages to come to the city because the kidnappers, the terrorists or whatever, they have taken over the communities. Then if they could take over Akure North, then there is everything they may come to the Akure South, which is the metropolis.
All right.
And if that, where is safe? Even the southwest you are talking about, where is safe? Nowhere is safe. Okay. Are you talking about Ekiti that share boundary with Kogi State? That share boundary with Kwara State? We all heard what is happening in Kwara. Okay. Are we talking about Osun that share boundary with Kogi with Kwara also? Where is safe? Is it Oyo we are talking about?
We need to go quickly on.
Alright everyone, no pull your ears, make we talk. Time don't reach to rearrange this house to give una small wisdom. Sounds mighty fresh now, but you know own, I beg no be so. Before una go talk, say our smell no reach. Make una think I'm twice so.
Ever heard of Colgate, the #1 oral care brand in the world?
Colgate Maximum Cavity Protection unlocks 24 hours cavity defense. The formula boost with calcium for lifelong smiles.
Mom, it's a time to brush. No more cover mouth. Because we Colgate, that's who do ya with your smile.
Colgate for 24 hours maximum cavity protection.
All right, welcome back. It's still AM120 on the Broadcasting Corporation for your state. Of course, before we went on that break, you were trying to, air your views as to the issue of terrorists,
In the southwest?
Yeah, you're talking about the Ekiti, sharing boundary with Kogi and Kwara. You're also talking about Ondo North, Akure North not being a safe place, And you're talking about southwest that basically the terrorists are actually aiming towards the southwest, and that's their aim. But looking at this, maybe I'll allow you complete your thought, and then we'll come back to the issue of
basically, what I was saying is that every part of the southwest, before we assumed that it was a northern issue now, it doesn't concern us, until some years ago that the whole region was almost overrun, then we brought up Amotekun. The Dawn Commission with former governor of those states, Akredolu, the late governor of those states, Akredolu, and the rest, it brought over Amotekun. The decibel went down because of Amotekun. But mind you, we are now sleeping now. The region is no longer safe. If you are from Ondo State, or you have people in Ondo State, you know that Akure North is not safe. That most of the community in that local government, people living in those communities, they are not safe. They are not happy. I read a report that said people are even relocating to Akure, the state capital, because their life, some people are relocating their businesses because that local government is not safe again. Then that is in Ondo State. Then, are we saying Ekiti is safe? We share boundary with Kogi State in Ekiti State, the Omu axis. Then, even Ekiti also share boundary with Kwara. Then, if you come to Osun share boundary with Kwara. We have all what happened in Kwara, where a lot of people were killed. Although it has gone down, we pray that the peace is sustained in that state. Then is it your state that even the largest in the region, that the landmass we share border with the north, even with the international community, Benin Republic, we share with Kwara and some other places. Now, what we are saying is we should not just assume, we should not just be sleeping that the region is safe. The region, those terrorists are here. They are not just kidnappers, not just those who are looking for money, not just merchants. No, some kidnappers and merchants, they are just looking for money. Terrorists and insurgents are here with us, and they are operating. Okay, we must stop them.
Let's look at the issue of financing security in Nigeria. Whether we like it or not, you may say that we may not have enough that's been budgeted or allocated for, security in Nigeria. But I tell you, a lot has been put in. Don't forget, it seemed like it had become a trend that almost every fund allocated to security in Nigeria will be embezzled, diverted by some group of people. Sambu Dasuki's case is still there. It's not done yet. And of course, in recent times too, another NSA is also having issues. Why is it that, people take advantage of being, at the ends of affairs to manage the security of Nigerians, not forgetting that the security of Nigeria is securing the lives of people. Why are they taking advantage?
Well, first, it's very unfortunate that people are embezzling security fund, but mind you, if the leader, they say the buck stop on the table of the leader. If certain amount of money have been allocated for security, mind you, we have a lot of ministry, at least 3 ministries, or more than 30 that are in charge of security. We have the Ministry of Defense, we have the Ministry of Police Affairs. I don't know whether that one still exists. We have even the Ministry of Interior. That's where we have the civil defense, we have some other people. Those are this money allocated, yearly they allocate money to those ministries. That means by the time you put everything together, the amount of money we are allocating for security is huge. But people are asking, where is the result? The result is probably the embezzlement. Some people are saying, first, that recurrent expenditure is very huge. When you do budget, you do recurrent expenditure, you do capital expenditure. The capital expenditure is what you can use for fixed asset and some other thing. Capital expenditure, but recurrent expenditure is what you use for salaries and other consumables. So the first thing you need to take care of is recurrent expenditure, because those who are working, they need to be paid. They need to use some consumable. They need to clean the offices and the rest. But we need to see whether the capital expenditure, the amount allocated for capital expenditure, is actually used for what it's meant for. And that's why I say the buck stop on the table of the leader. The leader of the country, if you want to stop this, and this monster that is about to destroy the country, you must start with accountability and probity. The amount you are putting into those ministries I mentioned, you must ensure that the capital expenditure the capital expenditure element is used for what it's meant for. And if it is not used, to anyone that is caught, that person should be taken as a terrorist. As a terrorist. Because if money has been voted for capital expenditure in the Ministry of Defense, Ministry of Police Affairs, or another agency that has to do with security, and somebody has gone there to go and invest with that money or to go and misappropriate that money, that person should be taken as a terrorist.
In time past, we are even aware, we've been told that even some security police stations, police stations in Nigeria, they don't even get impressed. And maybe that's why we find them on the road collecting, allegedly collecting
that is a complex issue.
So if at that point where there's certain amount of money that should be allocated to them and they're not getting it, is this not a major challenge for us as a country?
Does it mean that the government has allocated and their leaders are the one diverting the amount?
I wouldn't know, but those are the reports we get. Those are the allegations.
I would like to say that the government must ensure that first, the welfare of the rank and file of any security agency is taken care of.
How? Go and look at their houses. Houses allocated to them within their barracks.
That's why I said...
You're talking about welfare. I mean, they can't even... You see dilapidated buildings in those places.
That's why I said the box stop on the table of the leader. The people will say, nobody will remember the chief of army staff. People remember that if somebody came into this country, led this country, and during that period, terrorists overruns the country.
But it can't do it alone.
People still talk about Jonathan regime. That with democratic credential that Jonathan have, people are still saying that, people are now saying, bring back Jonathan, bring back Jonathan. But anytime that report comes up, some people are saying that when he was there, corruption was rife, insecurity was deep. And those things, they are still using it against him. Then the person who is there as the president now, his scorecard will also be brought out anytime. They will say that when you presided over this country, insecurity was all-time high.
Talking of Jonathan era, we also had, we saw reports where some people high up there said, they will make the country ungovernable for him. And we saw the rising insecurity like you're mentioning. But I want us to also look at the issue of morale and welfare of these military,
yeah.
When we see terrorists overpowering our military in their numbers. We saw what happened last week where a soldier came out to talk about the kits and how they buy these things themselves. They really do not get enough funding, enough money. And we're talking of financing. Now, when we have, soldiers not being well taken care of, it of course reduces their morale. How do we begin to talk about, or what do we begin to question? Because when we talk about safety, it's all of us, it's for Nigerians. Now, when Nigerians begin to rise up, raise questions, what do we begin to point fingers at?
He's the leader of the country, the president. He's the president. Now, let me deal with the question of Jonathan that some people said they will make the country ungovernable for him. If certain people have said they will make the country ungovernable for you, the onus and responsibility on you to ensure that those people are dealt with so that they will not make the country ungovernable for you. To me, the fact that the Jonathan could not deal with those people is his own shortcoming, his own undoing. Now, if some people are even saying covertly that they will make this country ungovernable for the current administration, the onus is also on the president to ensure that he sit tight and sit down and deal with these people and the situation. That's on the issue of financing and motivation. Whether we like it or not, motivation is very key. Even if you are not a military, anywhere you are working, even within family, motivation is very essential. And now talk about somebody protecting the country. I think they need to be taken care of far, far, far better than any other people, because they are holding the lives of people in their hand, and they are also putting their lives in lines for us to live peacefully. I mean, to me, I think their salary need to be doubled, their welfare package need to be enhanced so that they can put in their best. Now, as I said the other time, since the General Uba Musa was taken away, nobody has seen his body. The morale of the military has been damping. Now, if their morale has been damped, I think government need to ensure that it brings out some moral enhancement, either policy or packages, so that these people so that people will stay and be committed. The report I got is this: the military, most of them are not even committed again because of what they have seen. Aside from the fact that their leader was key, and another reason why they are not committed is the fact that their welfare package is poor. Government need to look at that situation to ensure that these people are well taken care of. They are putting their life in life for us to live.
So when we have soldiers, personnel whose morale have been dampened, who do not have that zeal to work anymore, what's the fate of an average Nigerian?
That's the result we are seeing. That's the result we are seeing. We can see the result. As I said the other time, the government need to ensure that their welfare is enhanced, increase their salary, increase their the other welfare package, and give them the right equipment to work. Because if your salary is in billions, but there's no equipment for you to work, that means they want to die. The need for us to buy more equipment, the equipment that will overrun the one that terrorists are using. Otherwise, we are not doing that. We are just putting their life in line. We are just putting their life in jeopardy.
But can we achieve that?
Well, if we are ready to defeat.
Looking at the fact that this is not just terrorism that is in Nigeria alone, but a network from international organizations, also international communities who are sponsoring these terrorists in Nigeria. Is this something we can achieve, within a short time frame?
It is not what we can achieve within a short time, but we can achieve that if we are very consistent and persistent. But we need political will to do that. Then we also need money. Each resources to ensure that equipment is bought for the military, their welfare package is taken care of, their welfare is taken care of, and even their children. For instance, somebody in the U.S. Army was narrating to us to say, when he was in the U.S. Army, he was not afraid because he knew if he died, the country would take care of his children. Okay, we have the same thing in this country.
Let's quickly look at this. As much as we're talking about equipment, sophisticated equipment, Nigeria has had heavily invested in military aircraft. Notable acquiring 12 US-made A-29 Super Tucano planes and ordering 24 Italian M346FA fighter jets for over 1.2 euro to fight Boko Haram and banditry. These, along with Chinese drones, CH-3, H-4, and Pakistani Super Mushtaqs, blasters, and Nigeria Air Force's surveillance and precision attack. So we're talking about equipment. Now we have this. What have we done with this?
But is it enough to
no, but at least for the volatile areas, we're supposed to put some of this in the volatile areas where the insurgents are really fighting, hard to take over those areas. Have we put in these things there? The drones in questions, one would have expected that the drones would help us to do surveillance and get report as it happens, which also serve as intelligence. We know the areas where the terrorists actually are. Don't forget, some years ago, we said we could not attack Sambisa Forest because we could also kill civilians. Now we actually went after a market that we claim to be a hub for terrorists, and we didn't have a second thought, assumed.
No, let's just wait for the second to come out.
I'm just saying that we didn't wait for a second thought that civilians might, I use the word,
be in that market.
Might, because they will be doing the selling. Even the terrorists are there, they will be doing the buying. So how come all of this joined together and not put in place?
Well, let me take it from the equipment. If we are invested so much amount of money in buying equipment, and the incident that happened in April the 9th has to do with the fact that the mine ambush protected machine did not work, was malfunctioning, or it was bumped, or it was burnt. If one machine was bumped, let's assume that it's not the issue of malfunctioning, it was the issue that it was target. Then, if that machine was burnt, does that mean we should not look for, say, plan B? Or does that mean that there shouldn't be any other plan B put in place to ensure that if no, they should think that this thing may be attacked anytime? Then does that mean it's the only one machine they have in that formation? If they have invested. And also there's what we call watch tower that's supposed to be in there that somebody will be there and be looking. Does that mean the watch tower was not working when these terrorists came? I think those are the questions we need to ask them. If actually they say they've invested so much, they bought all this equipment you're talking about. Those equipment, are they enough to take care of the situation in that region? No, there is one thing to say you are bought. You can buy 2 things where you need 10. But you still be claiming that I bought.
But we should see results. We should see results in those places where we have put them. We should be able to say that the Tucano, aircraft has helped us to win the battle in ABCD. But we're not getting such reports.
Yes. Let's assume that we bought equipment and the equipment is enough. The equipment we bought is enough. But can we look in human resources management? They say the most important aspect of any resource you can talk about is human.
Yeah, human personnel.
Because what is it called? This in economics, factor of production. You say land, labor, entrepreneurs, and the other one, wages. And out of those 4, the most important aspect is what is labor. It's human resource. Because any equipment you bought, the person that will use it is what? Is human being will use the equipment. If you bought all these aircraft, fighter jet, Super Tucano, everything, but those that are supposed to use it, they are what? They are demoralized. Do you think they put in their best? Do not. As we are buying equipment for them to work, they need equipment. Then those that work, they need to be motivated. They need to be motivated. If they are short, we don't have enough military people to work, they should recruit more.
And talking of this recruitment, we've also heard authorities say people are not willing to join the military because of this insecurity.
Because the welfare
and of course,
is
the
poor.
remuneration is also not encouraging. But how do we encourage people to join? How do we, talking of recruitment now, like you mentioned, especially where we have some equipment on ground, we probably do not have enough personnel to handle this equipment, or we're spending so much on this equipment, we are not seeing results.
Yes, the bottom line is, for instance, the report we got from what happened in Borno in April the 9th said that the terrorists overran, they overnumbered the number. That's the report I got. I wasn't there. They overnumbered the number. That's why everybody was running at scatter. Then it means they were short of staff in that place. Then there's need for us to recruit more. Now, how do we recruit people when people are not ready to join the army? Then you must, first of all, when you join the army, your protection, the protection of your life is guaranteed. That as I'm joining, I've not signed a death warrant. That I'll be protected with equipment, and that there will be welfare package that is enough to take care of my generations for me. I said the example I gave that somebody in the U.S. Army that said if he died, the army will take care of his family. But if somebody died in this country, you are fighting for the country. I'm not sure whether the country will take care of your children and take care of their education. I'm not sure. Don't let me ascertain what I don't know. But what I'm saying is this, it is essential for the country to ensure that those who are fighting for the country, those who are putting their life in line for the country, their lives, their nation need to be protected. They need to be provided welfare package that even they die, their family will not feel the pain that their breadwinners has died. Nothing wrong with the government to ensure that the amount you are earning can it be times 3? Because the work you are doing is too risky. It's too risky for your family. I think the government need to ensure that their welfare package is enhanced so that the army will be attractive to people.
Okay, there were reports recently that some Boko Haram terrorists were prosecuted and sentenced. Very recently, last week, I saw that story. And for me, it's laudable. It means that for those found guilty of some of these acts, I mean, the law is taking its course. Don't you think the government should do more?
Government need to do more.
To serve as deterrent.
While we are applauding what the government is doing concerning the prosecution, I think the government need to do more to ensure that as they are doing the prosecution, they must not be particular. They must not be political. They must be neutral. They must be what? They must be above board while doing it. Because there shouldn't be any sacred cow. Anybody, no matter how early place you are, you need to be what? You need to answer certain questions. If they have been linking you to terrorists, you need to answer certain questions. For example, we talk about the issue of this Tukomamu. Yes, that I think the name is among the list released. Then they need to be diligently prosecuted, and there is what we call accelerated hearing. The hearing to be accelerated because justice delay may be justice denied. It's not all the cases, in all cases, but justice delay may whittle down the strength of your case. Let them be tried expeditiously so that you can get to the end of it.
But if indeed they were confirmed to be terrorists, do you think they should be served jail term or they should be given, you kill, you die?
Well, ordinarily, when you kill, you are supposed to be killed. No, there are some
because
offenses.
of the security of our nation again, because if they are kept in jail, there could be a jailbreak, and they get back to their work.
Aside from jailbreak, they may even contaminate those who are there.
So?
Then, to me, they should be summarily killed. No, these are terrorists. There are some offenses, they say they are unbailable offenses. We have armed robbery, we have terrorism is part of them. These people are terrorists. Banditry, these people are terrorists. Once they are arrested, they are prosecuted, they are found guilty. They should be killed. Summarily, without any explanation, they should be killed. So that even reduce the congestion in our prison.
So why are we keeping cases? Okay, for instance, the issue of Sambo Dasuki is over 10 years and is still running. Unfortunately, even El Zaki that was dismissed spent 6 years. The matter was on for 6 years. Don't you think that the judiciary should make some issues matter of urgency, or maybe the National Assembly should go back and amend our laws?
Well, one thing is this: when it comes to judicial cases, that has to do with prosecution. If you are not prosecuting diligently, you will not get any results. Sometimes the court is not the father. It's not Father Christmas. There is what we call diligent prosecution. If you not make your case watertight and you just go to court, that's why in the past, EFCC lost some cases. They will arrest first before investigation. After you'll be arrested, they will now be looking for the item to nail you. That is wrong. You need to look for watertight evidence first before the person is arrested. And when the person is arrested, you take the person to court and to go and prosecute the person diligently. But it's the federal government who is the prosecuting agent doing the same thing. Then I think when anybody has been arrested as terrorist or insurgents or whatever, or Boko Haram sympathizer, the government need to get its evidence watertight and go there, prosecute the person diligently. We are also appealing to the judiciary also. They should expedite action on those cases. Yes, because you go to court, those judges, they are doing huge, they are overburdened because you don't have enough hand. And the system, in most cases, they are not automated. Most judges, they use hand to write something. When you are there, they will use their hand to write.
In this century?
Yes. Although some people they are automating now, but can we do that across all our courtrooms so that they can have more productivity?
Okay, let's look at the issue of terrorism financiers and sponsors. We've been talking about this for a long time, and then we've heard and seen, state governors come out to say, we know them, we know who they are, but
who is the governor
they are not naming them.
Who is the governor?
The governor of Plateau State said it. Sometimes last year, when people were killed in the States, we've also had some lawmakers say that. Someone still said it last week. And then a few days ago, we saw the federal government releasing names of some financiers of these terrorists. The talk of Simon Ekpa, Toko, IPOB, and the likes. Now, when we have these names being mentioned, what exactly, number one, why did it take the federal government, releasing names this long when we have, it feels like the situation is almost already deteriorating. And secondly, when we have this list of names, about 40-something names, what should we be expecting? Should we expect same judgment we are seeing with terrorists for financiers also?
No, the prosecution should be more strict. Those who are prosecuted then should ensure that they get strong, incontrovertible evidence to name them. And they should also appeal. We are also appealing to the judiciary as the arm of government to ensure that they deal with this matter on time and the right thing, the right punishment should be given to them. To me personally, those financiers, if truly they be found guilty, if they are found guilty to be the financier, they should be killed. Aside from being killed, anybody who is closer to them, who has benefited from that exercise, they should also be killed. If you are not going extreme, you won't get any results. No, we are talking about Mamu. Mamu is not Mamu is not the only one working now. Probably he has a company. He must have somebody who is his lieutenant. I think those who are linked to them should also be dealt with. They should be killed summarily. Otherwise, if we are pampering them, we are saying they are our brother, they are prodigal sons. If we are saying that, that means we are encouraging them. Because any system that encourages bad behaviors, that refuses to punish bad behaviors, you are encouraging bad behaviors. As simple as that.
But is that not what we've seen in Nigeria over time?
And that's why I said the box stop on the leader. That's why I also mentioned the issue of political will. If the president is determined to end this issue, to write his name in God, he should ensure that he has this political will to deal with these people. Anybody who is found to have any link with this terrorist should be dealt with. Even if it is National Security Advisor, who is one of the highest person in the country, it should be dealt with. That's the only way we know that the president is ready to see the end of this monster. Okay,
you have been talking about killing summarily. And
yes.
You agree with me that the International Court of Justice, in the globe, has kicked against capital punishment.
Capital punishment against terrorists? that is ready to take over the country.
How do we manage the two?
No, I disagree. They may be saying they are one, but we are a sovereign country. We must look at what will benefit this country.
But they can charge Nigeria to court
for somebody who has been found guilty
for killing.
Somebody who is a terrorist, and the process has gone through, and the court found him guilty to be a terrorist. And one international community will say that person will not be killed. No, it's impossible. It's impossible. It's the only thing why international community be crying is if there is an extrajudicial killing without prosecution, they may be crying. But if we have capital punishment in our law books, and somebody has gone through the process of prosecution, and the judge said the person should be killed, no international community should, even the Donald Trump of this world should not have the temerity to tell us that person should not be killed. If he's saying that means he's a sympathizer.
I think you should not bring Donald Trump into it.
Of what? Anybody that is kicking against the killing of terrorists that have been found guilty, that person is what? Is a financier, is a sympathizer, is an exponent, is an advocate of terrorists.
Now, so how can we, begin to coordinate our security to get the desired result?
That's the coordination. That's the function of the Office of the National Security Advisors. National Security Advisors, rather not advisors. The person of Nuri Badu. No, all the security agencies, they have a link with them. They should be doing meetings. They do meetings together. Then it should be the one coordinating all security cases, all security issues in the country. But what we say in the past, people are saying that Ribadu is more political, that he likes politics more than security. You see?
I was going to ask if you have confidence in Ribadu.
When he started, I didn't have that confidence. You see him political, when they are doing political negotiation, when two governors are fighting, you see him to go and say to fight.
When they are doing peacemaker?
Peacemaker. When they are doing some things, you see him. When they are doing in political arena, you see him more in political arena. But I think he has changed now. Yeah,
there's room for change.
He has changed now.
But so far, do you think he's also living up to the expectation of his office?
Well, he may be competent, may be good, he may be charismatic, but when we have not got results, he has not lived up to the expectation. There's what we call MOB management, management by objective. The meaning of management objective is people are not concerned about the processes. They are only concerned about your results. They are not concerned about your charisma, your courage, your money, your intelligence. They are only concerned. They are not concerned about your diploma, the number of diploma you are holding. They are only concerned about about your productivity, the result you are getting. That's why they say MOB is result oriented. No matter how charismatic Ribadu is, if insecurity is still reigning supreme in this country, he has not delivered. And he has not got a pass mark.
I want us to look at the issue of intelligence now, intelligence gathering, because when we have terrorists overpowering military personnel, there must have been, we mentioned it earlier, a leakage somewhere, where information was losing.
Failures of intelligence first, yes. And compromise.
And compromise. So when we have issue of intelligence like that, we've also had issues where, community leaders have been said to be informants for these terrorists. Should we begin to also treat them as terrorists also, met the same judgment, punishments on terrorists on them?
No, I said the other time that in some community, people see what terrorists are doing as they are fighting the government. They are fighting for people's rights. Yes, they believe that because government has not done well for us.
Of course, we saw what happened in the case of Lakurawa. It was actually the people that invited them to help them, protect them in their community against the so-called terrorists. But unfortunately, they've also become a major issue for them in that particular. So when we have, people also being sympathetic, how should we do with, community members also who are sympathizers of these terrorists?
Yes, first.
And also in terms of information gathering.
Intelligence gathering, leakage of intelligence. For instance, the one that happened April the 9th, they say intelligence free. Because I heard someone, Sulu, that said that 3 days ago, 3 days before the incident, that they got intelligence that these people were coming. I don't know whether that is true, but if it is true, it means the saboteurs are still many in the system. Anywhere you have saboteur, just like you put a chicken in your in your bag and you are planting corn, you are planting maize. Then it means as you are doing it, the chicken has nowhere you put it. You just come and or put it in night. Then it means there are still some saboteurs that are what they are dealing with us in this country. How do we do it? Then we need to be very careful while planning operations. Or whatever we are doing, we need to be very careful. There was a story I heard. One of our lecturers told us in those days that in a company, people were stealing things. They now, what would they do? Then the head of that company decided that, are we the only one to catch these people? They now set a trap. By then, they called the person was somebody who is assistant to the MD, to the head of that. No, ordinarily, it's supposed to be part of the planning things. Somebody who is number 2. It's supposed to be among those that will plan. But you just imagine that the man has planned with him. He will have knew the system. He will have known the system, and just the system will not work. All we are saying is this: when you are planning military operations or when you are doing certain things, I think it should be restricted to highly placed officer, highly placed, probably 3 people. If out of those 3 people, if the information leak, they should know that one of those 3 has compromised.
Now let's look at issue of saboteurs and sabotaging security. I've come to realize that if you have saboteurs in any system, it will take a lot of resources, energy to get rid of them.
It's a serious matter. It takes a lot, not just energy, not just resources. It takes a lot of intelligence. Even sometimes it may take a lot of spiritual step to know.
You're bringing spiritual.
Yes, no, we are spiritual entities, whether we like it or not. And the spiritual control the physical. I'm not saying they should leave what we can do physically to spiritual, but spiritual can enhance what we're doing physically. So if you have saboteur around you, okay, all of you are planning together, you know the person you are planning together is the enemy within. Then you take a discerning mind. And when you are talking about discerning mind, what are you talking about? You go spiritual. You take a discerning mind to know that this person planning with me is even the enemy within. It takes a lot of discernment.
Sometimes some saboteurs can be so perfect, intelligent, that you'll be picking on the wrong people. And if you're not careful, you would have eliminated all the good people only to discover that even the saboteurs still exist.
That's why it takes a discerning mind.
No, when you talk about spirituality, you can even go spiritual and be seeing the wrong person in the picture. No, it happens.
That's not spiritual. That is manipulation.
No, sometimes.
That is manipulation. That's manipulation. Okay. Then it takes, what we are saying is this: we need to be very careful while planning operation. Aside from the fact that we need to get equipment, we need to get human resource, more people to do the job. Then when we are planning our operation, we need to be very careful when we are planning whatever we are planning. Because as I said, I read a report 2 days before the attack that there was a report that they were coming. Unfortunately, nobody took heart. Some even say it's a failure of intelligence. Some say that saboteurs are working. Some even say that deliberately the machine of that general was not maintained. Different reports. But what we are saying is that the country belongs to the country is headed by someone.
What should the military head, I'm talking about the general, what should he have done when he realized that his machine was not in good shape and that by his experience, that base could be attacked?
Probably he didn't know because nobody went.
Why would you not know that the machine?
I didn't know, but probably, I don't know, but probably you didn't know that machine was not. No, I said we got different reports. Some said the machine was malfunctioning but when he wanted to use it, when he was using the machine. While some said that the machine was the first target of the terrorists. But the question is, if I go by that second account that said that the machine was first of all attack, then how did the terrorists how did they know that the location of that machine for them to attack it first?
Not only location, that it belongs to him.
They are a saboteur. Because such a very powerful machine, they call it mine ambush protected machine, that where the brigadier will be inside to give command to do operation and to destroy terrorists. For them to know where it is, probably the person that is at tower, watchtower has compromised. They need to look at the person that is supposed to be at the watchtower. Watchtower is what I'll be watching around. Then the person there need to be changed. Is even the person giving them, because he ought to have seen them ahead. He ought to have got some information ahead before they got to the point where the brigadier general was. If the man is not compromised, I'm not certain that man was not compromised. Because how would it have happened and they wouldn't have brought about reinforcement? Do you know the funniest part of it? The funniest part of it is this. When the terrorists attack, it took hours.
3 hours. Before
they could reinforce. Because the military could also bring another reinforcement to repair those terrorists. In fact, I even read a story that even the terrorists, they've laid a line mines where the army will pass through. How would they plan that one within That means they're planning for it months. Where the army will pass when they want to reinforce.
And they did not get a hold of the information.
But it's very funny because when you are planning 9 months, it's not what you can do within hours. It takes some days to do so. It takes some time to do so. And when they are doing it, what was the function of the control, the watchtower, the person in charge of watchtower? What was their role? What were they doing?
Let's look at the plans of the federal government led by President Bola Ahmed Tinubu for the families of the general and the 17 soldiers. If you look at the plans they have on the table, is it really worth laying down your life?
Well, no amount of compensation, no amount of plan could worth a life, just a single life. Not to talk of 17 lives and 1 general, brigadier general. Do you know what it means to be a general? The country has invested so much in that person. It's an investment wasted. It's a national investment wasted. Is a life wasted. Is the breadwinner wasted. Is the change agent wasted. Is the leader wasted. Then how much of compensation will be enough to take care of that? The experience, the education, the training, the empowerment, the intelligent guardian training that he has had, and the mentorship. As a leader, people are looking up to you. It's just like a shepherd. You have a lot of sheep watching you. Then no amount of compensation will be enough. And mind you, this is a country where all of us are. How much would the government give to the family? They'll bring back the debt. They'll bring back the people. No amount of compensation.
Looking at the equipment we use and how sophisticated, these terrorists
With
are
with
their firearms and every other thing they use. Should we also, because it feels like we are not looking at neighboring countries, because maybe foreign countries collaboration or helping us fight this issue of insecurity.
I think we've sought foreign collaboration.
We've not, I'm talking of, seeing an immediate action now, because it feels like we are still, as much as we say we are working, it feels like we are still not doing as much as we should.
We are not getting results.
Yes, we are not getting results. And of course, Nigerians will say we are not doing, the government is not doing
It's
enough.
not doing well at all.
What should we begin to see? Moving forward, especially where we now have, so much casualties, recording a lot of casualties on a weekly basis. So many dead people, especially the military, who should be protectors, are now also being killed. What should we be seeing in terms of collaboration with other countries?
Well, we need to enhance our collaboration with other countries, our neighboring countries. Chad, I think we've had something with them, Chad, Niger, and some other, but even Benin Republic, we need to enhance our collaboration, because terrorism is not restricted to a country. As I said the other time, they are coming, a report, a scholar in security said at a meeting I attended, he said, these terrorists, some of them are coming from Djibouti. Some of them are coming from Libya. The foot soldiers, Muammar Gaddafi, they are coming to this country, to the southern part of the country, because they know that southern part of the country is resources rich. And they are targeting there. If they could overrun the southern part of the country, they say they will take over the country, and the resources in this country will become theirs. Theirs will become their own. That's what they are targeting. Now, if these people are coming from other African countries, or in the Middle East or whatever, then we need to see collaboration across borders, more than what we are doing. We need to look at the sources of these people. How are they? Who is supporting them? Where do they get their inspiration from? We need to get support that is bigger, that is superior to what they have, so that we can deal with this thing that is ready to take over this country. Otherwise, we are just pampering them. We may not have a country we can call our own in the next few years, if care is not taken.
Now, if you look at the 2027 election, that's the focus for many politicians. And it seemed like, towards the election, shifted. And towards the election, that's when you find arms, going out for people who want their supporters to. Now, how can we manage the situation with what we have on the table and the 2027 general election?
Yes, we need to, politicians need to realize that you must have a country before you can govern the country. If you look at the genesis of terrorism, of Boko Haram in this country, some reports said that those that started Boko Haram insurgents, they were political machineries. They were political foot soldiers used by some politicians. And they did not, after the politicians had won the election, they were not compensated properly, and they didn't retrieve the arms in their hand. Then from there they became and they have become a monster in the country. Then the same thing, as I said the other time, I talk about Libya, even small arms are coming from Libya to this country, small arms. A lot, they want that they were using in Libya, they are coming to this country, and some people are using it, they are getting it, and they are getting in droves, and they want to use it to overrun this country. We pray that will not come to pass. But as election is coming around, the president must realize that you must have a Nigeria as a country before you govern. And anybody who wants to become the governor, you must have your state. The country must be peaceful. The country must be safe before you preside over. You must have if you are saying because I want to become someone politically, and you are supporting terrorism, you are supporting insurgents, that thing will also boomerang. That thing are also coming to haunt you in the future, because you may not even govern your state or your country peacefully. The politician must realize that there must be a country because you preside, because you become the leader of that country or a community. And also, the president must place a premium on on security higher than that of politicking. Because if you are politicking, the country is not safe. Don't be surprised. You are giving Donald Trump another leadway.
We've had this school of thought over the years that when election is coming, we see things going on well in Nigeria. We see politicians, acting right, behaving properly in courts. But unfortunately, it doesn't seem as if that's the case, currently in Nigeria. Now, what immediate and long-term steps should be taken to avoid, further future occurrence of what we are currently talking about, especially killings of the military?
Well, we've talked about this. That question has permeated all the issues we've been discussing. That what do we do? We need to, the president need to have the political will to deal with this monster that is tearing on the face. Then the will is that when there is no justice, there can be peace. And justice needs to be served to those who are the financiers, who are the sponsors of this terrorism, insurgency, or whatever. They need to be dealt with their sponsor, their base. Sometimes when you see a Boko Haram element, it may not be the person that is, if you kill that Boko Haram element alone, without looking at the source, the pillar that is supporting, you are just wasting your time. Instead of just killing, just like people will say, you are just dealing with the branches. You are not dealing with the root. Instead of dealing with the branches alone, I'm not saying the branches not be dealt with. Instead of dealing with the branches alone, it's more cost-effective and more rational and logical to deal with the root. And when the root is dealt with, the branches will naturally die. Naturally die. Then we should look for the support base of those who are sponsoring Boko Haram elements and insurgents. We should deal with them. Where are the support bases? The support bases are what? Are the financiers, they are negotiators, and they are what? And they are supporters. When we deal with those ones, it's just like they will say, tie the shepherd. What will happen to the sheep?
Scatter.
They will scatter. The shepherd is they are the financiers and supporters of Boko Haram element of insurgents, the financiers of insurgents. Let the government deal with them first. But as I said, everything still boils down on what I call the political will.
But what hope should Nigerians hold on to, especially those in that particular region that have been displaced, that do not have homes, that have not even seen their families in years? What hope should they hold on to? How do we begin to encourage them?
Well, there is no point. I don't know how to encourage it. But basically, they are in humanitarian crisis. The government needs to give assurance that, you are going to be resettled to your abode, to your original habitat. Then, what are the steps we are taking? We must ensure that where you left is safe. If where they've left is not safe, there is no point telling them that they will be relocated. But the first step the government needs to take right now is to ensure that the country is made safe. If the country is made safe, you don't need to tell somebody who is in the IDP camp to return to his base. They will naturally return. But no matter how evangelistic the government message is, no matter how strong the awareness is, if their natural habitat, their original habitat is not safe, they will not return.
All right, we want to thank you so much on behalf of our producers and crew member, Comrade Rotimi Agboluwaje, who is a political analyst, publisher, a journalist, a reporter, and of course the secretary of the Correspondent Chapel in Oyo State. Thank you very much for sharing from your wealth of experience with us this morning. We appreciate you.
Thank you, Madam Chadi. Thank you. Thank you. You're also a political leader and a unionist par excellence.
All right.
Everything to Fumi, you are doing a good job. Fumi, rather, you are doing a good job. Well done.
Thank you very much. All right, we'll go on a break, and when we come back, it's going to be Sport Update. Stay with us. Don't go away.